Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Bearded Ford Tech. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you're not, welcome back. We're going to be talking about the new recall that Ford released for the 14 F-150, the 24S37, which is a sudden transmission downshift. I'm going to kind of break this down because people are blowing it out of proportion. So without further ado, let's get into it. You can see here Ford recalls over 550 pickup trucks because transmissions can suddenly downshift into first gear. It's basically telling you you're going down the road, transmission downshifts into first gear, and no matter how fast the trucks are going. The recall covers certain F-150 pickups from 2014 model year. The F-Series pickups are the top selling vehicles in the U.S., blah, blah, blah. Ford says in a document posted Tuesday by U.S. safety regulators that the downshifting can cause drivers to lose control of the truck, increasing the risk of a crash. It comes after U.S. auto safety regulators in March began investigating complaints that more than 540,000 Ford pickup trucks from 2014 can abruptly downshift to a lower gear and increase the risk of a crash. Documents say the problem is caused by a lost signal between the transmission speed sensor and the powertrain control computer. There also could be corrosion problems with connector pins. Dealers will update the powertrain control software at no cost. Ford said it expects repairs to be available in the third quarter of this year. Owners will be able to use mobile service for this pickup, so they're reprogramming the PCM, and I want to get to that back in a second. 130 complaints to the government, 52 alleging that rear wheels locked up and the drivers lost control of the truck. Ford said that before the truck's downshift, drivers could see a malfunction indicator light on the dashboard. In some cases, signals can be restored while the trucks are moving. They can be driven normally. In other cases, drivers may need to stop and restart the engine. NHTSA said it started the investigation in March after getting complaints about sudden downshifts. The agency is looking into whether those trucks should have been included in previous recalls for the problem. Looking into whether those trucks should have been included in previous recalls for the problem. Remember that Ford started recalling trucks and other vehicles from 2011 through 12 model years in 2016 and added 2 recalls in 2019 covering pickups from 11 to 13. We're going to go over that here in just a minute. It is only 1% of this 550,000. 1%. I saw that somewhere. Where did I see it? Oh yeah, the company says it expects fewer than 1% of the recall vehicles to have the problem. So fewer than 1% of 550,000. 1% is 5,500. And the reason I'm saying this is because back in 2014, 15-ish at the dealership, I did a lot of these on the F-150s. And I actually had the TSB pulled up from back in the day. So this is nothing new. They were blowing this way out of proportion. They're adding the 14 models because the 14 wasn't included. It was like the 11 through 13. So they were blowing this way out of proportion. And really, it's only about 5,500 vehicles, not 550,000. So what I want to do is I want to go through this recall that is now and then show you what we had to do back in 14 and 15, okay? All right, June 17th, 2024. This is the recall 24S37. It's the F-150, the 2014 model year. Built June 17th, 13 through August 25th, 14 in Dearborn, and July 26th, 13 through December 23rd, 14 in Kansas City. Okay? It says 550,915. That is total number of vehicles. Okay? That does not mean that every one of these F-150s falls under this recall. Okay? That's with any recall. When a manufacturer issues a recall, it doesn't mean that every vehicle falls under that recall. We'll talk about that in a minute. If these DTCs are present, 720, 22, 31, or 1500 are not present, check available powertrain control module software. If they are present, review the labor and allowance parts. And I'll show you what parts it is. And the reason I know about this is because it's nothing new. Okay? All right, look here. We're going to go to a 2013 F-150. Yes. Let's go over here to DTCs. we're going to go down, what was it, 720? There's a 720 right there. And that brings up a GSB. And this was in 2016. Okay? This is also saying, because the symptom was a little bit different, it was saying that it would start out in 5th gear. But some complaints were also saying that it was downshifting in 1st gear. Okay? And it says replace the molded lead frame. Now, let's go back. Let's go to technical info for this recall. What is it telling us to do? Check for the codes. Is it on? Yes. And look, it's the molded lead frame. That right there. This bad boy. It's got all the shift solenoids on it. Boink. So you're replacing this molded lead frame, and then you reprogram the PCM. The same thing we were doing in 2014. Now, back to what I was saying. When a manufacturer issues a recall for a truck or a car, we'll just take the Chevy Tahoe, for instance. It issues 10 recalls for the Chevy Tahoe for the 2022 model year. Does that mean every 2022 model year Tahoe has those 10 recalls? No. As you can see there is by build date and build plant, and only certain vehicles affected. But how many vehicles did they build in 2022? So they figure out how many they built and they issue a recall, wide variety. That's why it says that Ford issues a recall for 550,000 trucks. Not all 550,000 of them fall under that recall. A lot of them were done in 2011, 12, 13, and 14. Now that one was issued for the 14 model because it wasn't for the 11, 12, and 13. See what I'm saying here? You're basically doing the same thing that we were doing back in for the 11, 12, and 13 models, because it did have that issue. So people need to cool their jets. Okay, it's nothing new. It's just on a year later model. 11 through 14 is the same vehicle. I don't know why they didn't add it in the 14s into it. 15, they came out with a new body style, still had the same transmission, but it didn't have the problems. 17 and 16 had the same transmission. Late 17 got the 10-speed. So that's what's going on with this recall. Everybody just calm down. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a big of a deal. We don't want it to downshift on you while you're going down the road, but it's not really that new. They just added another vehicle to it. And remember, 1% or less. So 5,500 vehicles or less. So I hope that helps you guys understand what's going on a little bit better. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.